Russia and Iran are one of the strongest allies in the world. Well, not anymore. Tensions are emerging between Moscow and Tehran, and here is the latest instance. Russia has started manufacturing its own version of Iran's Shahed drones that it has been using against Ukraine for the last 1 year. The Russian version is being called Jiran 2 and is adapted to better suit Russian needs. This also means that Russia is reducing its reliance on Iran's military hardware, which is not good news for the poor Iranian regime. After basic research, we found out that significant tension has been building up between Russia and Iran for over a month now. Look at this article from July. Dispute between Iran and Russia started on July 17 when Russia and Gulf countries issued a joint statement calling on for negotiations over the disputed Persian Gulf islands. The three disputed islands are Abu Musa and Greater and Lesser Tunb. These islands are held by Iran but also claimed by UAE. These islands have been held by Iran since 1971, shortly before the seven Gulf Emirates gained full independence from Britain and formed the UAE. Now, of course, Iran says it views the territorial status of these islands as non-negotiable and would consider any interference a reason to sever international ties. So, when Russia supported the UAE's initiative to hold bilateral negotiations in the International Court of Justice or ICJ, Iran gave a sharp response. Now watch this. Iranian officials openly backed Japan's calls for discussions over the Kuril Islands. Now, we all know the Kuril Islands are held by Russia but claimed by Japan. When Japan supported Ukraine in the war against Russia, Moscow reacted by scrapping the ongoing peace talks with Japan over these islands. Not just that, Iran is apparently also livid because despite advance payment, Russia has not delivered Sukhoi 35 fighter jets to the Shiite nation. Iran is waiting for the delivery for over a year now. Now, some experts in Iran are not liking this Russia's approach. They believe Russia was sacrificing Iran's interest to help overcome its international isolation with attempts to stay on good terms with Gulf Arab nations. Iran conservative newspaper Jamhuri Islami wrote, "This is not going to be Russia's last treason against Iran. That means Russia will continue to adopt this anti-Iran policy in a bid to please the Arab nations." The newspaper also called on the country's government to rethink its pro-Russia policy, which it claimed has turned into a liability in the face of its aggression in Ukraine. Well, as these tensions between Russia and Iran drag on, some foreign policy experts in Iran are advocating for peace talks between Iran and US. Ali Akbar Salehi, who is Iran's former foreign minister, recently said, "It was a good and appropriate opportunity to hold multifaceted political talks with the West, including Europe and the US." Despite all these glaring differences, what I believe is we won't see any radical shift in Iran's policy because it does not have that luxury. The best thing it can do is to further bolster its ties with China and explore common grounds to work with Arab nations. Iran is simply not in a position to train its guns on Russia, and thus it will have to walk a fine line between securing its interests both at home and abroad. Thanks for watching outright. You can subscribe to our channel for exclusive insights on foreign affairs.